The fireball is the strongest equipment in the game, and I played it both in the 2024 and 2025 World Finals and smashed the bases with it. In this video, I will tell you everything you need to know to master the fireball yourself, and I promise that you won't regret to learn it. Let's get over the points I want to emphasize on. First, why the fireball is so strong and why you should learn it. Second, how the fireball actually functions, so you understand exactly how to force it onto the right target. Third, what the range of the fireball looks like and how you can quickly identify which buildings will get hit. Fourth, how many spells you need to finish off buildings after the fireball lands, depending on your equipment level. Fifth, how to play the warden walk properly and which pet you should use to make the fireball setup as consistent as possible. Sixth, which buildings you should target with your fireball to get maximum value and set up your attack perfectly. Seventh, the most common mistakes players make and how you can avoid them to massively increase your consistency. And last, I will show you one example attack so you can see exactly how everything comes together in a real scenario. There are four main reasons for it. First, you have maximum control and flexibility in your attack, which means basically, if you execute it correctly, failing becomes very unlikely. Second, you know exactly what you remove from the base, so planning your attacks feels natural and consistent. Third, if you struggle against bases with either rage or invisibility spell towers, the equipment counters them perfectly. Fourth, and the most important reason, most attacks fail because they cannot create a good funnel, and this is easily fixed with the fireball. The fireball always targets the closest visible defense. In order to always hit your target, you need the invisibility spell. You turn closer defenses invisible to manipulate where the fireball will land. Make sure you're not using more than 4 invisibility spells, because you only have 4 seconds to turn closer defenses invisible and to launch your fireball. More invisibility spells means more room for mistakes. Most of the time, you want to start with a short warden walk to get closer to your target in order to save spells. And to give your warden and your healers more power, you want to use the rage vial as a secondary equipment on your warden. If you want to support your warden, you could use spells or troops like furnaces or rocket loons. When you launch a fireball, ideally you want to have no moving troops nearby, because they could pull last second Teslas, which would then mess up the fireball target. There's a difference for the fireball range when you're hitting 2x2, 3x3, or 4x4 buildings. I have two graphics for you, which I will explain in a couple of seconds. One for the range of the fireball, which is level 24 or higher, and one for the range of the fireball, which is between level 9 and 23. Your targeted building is always in the middle of the graphic, and you will damage every building that has at least one tile in the red zone. When you now look at the graphics, I've drawn some additional things into it so that I can explain it more easily. Basically, you have the red area, which is the fireball range. And you have like blue squares, which represent buildings, 3x3 buildings to be precise. And the yellow area is the closest distance between the corner of the target and the corner of the blue building, which is maximum possible. So for example, when I look at the top left side, there I see the maximum range between a 2x2 and a 3x3 building. If I hit the 2x2 building with the fireball, is 4 tiles times 2 in between those two buildings. I look only at the corners which are closest together. When I look now to the right of it, there's a different scenario where the building is standing 3 tiles times 3 tiles away from the 2x2 building. This is also possible and also basically the maximum range. Anything that is closer than those two combinations of numbers will get hit by the target no matter what. Now if I look in the middle at the 3x3 range of the fireball, there's as well only 2 combinations of numbers you will need. On the bottom left you can see there's a 3x2 distance between the building and the target, regarding from corner to corner the closest distance. And when I look at the right, there's a 4x0 distance, and the 0 basically means you don't have to go any tile to the left or to the right to get from corner to corner. You just go 4 tiles vertically or horizontally, depending on where the building really is. And that's basically the maximum range for the fireball when it hits a 3x3 target. If you now look onto the right side on the 4x4 fireball range, there's only one thing you have to remember. You don't have to know those number of combinations. You just have to remember those 2x2 combinations for numbers on the left side, because the only thing that changes is that the target now is bigger. So you basically subtract from every range of the 2x2 just one tile vertically and one tile horizontally. So from 4x2 you go to 3x1 as a difference between corner and corner. And from the 3x3 range on the 2x2 you go to the 2x2 range on the 4x4. That's basically it, how I identify which fireball range works and which not. And you basically only have to remember 4 combinations of numbers. The go-to spell for clearing the damaged defenses is the Earthquake spell. Depending on your fireball level, you typically need 1, 2, or 3 of them. There's a website you can use to calculate the number of earthquake spells you need for each building automatically. This is the website I'm talking about. It's called Clash of Clans Damage Calculator, and basically how this works, you can set up your level for these spells by using the bar here at the bottom, or by using the settings, set all spells to maximum level, for example. And if you do that for the fireball as well, you can see that you one-shot defenses like the cannon or the archer tower, or the first defense which needs a spell to take down after the fireball is the Expo with the 1 earthquake. And if you go down, you see that you need more spells. For example, for the clan castle, you will need at least 2 earthquake spells. That's how you use this. You can adapt the levels however you want it, however your levels are at the moment, to find out how many spells you need to take down specific buildings. For the maximum fireball level, you only need 2 earthquake spells to take down every single defensive building, except the town hall. Start your warden near corners. If you look on the village like a clock, you should place your warden within a time slot of ±1 hour of a corner. This will make it more likely that your warden stays safe the whole attack. Playing the warden directly from a flank could result in something like this, where the warden paths into the damage when starting your follow-up. And you don't want that. Now let's look at the pets you can use. The most beginner-friendly pet for the warden walk is the Sneezy. Not only do the boogers damage for the warden, but they also tank, like for example here the multi-archer tower, so that the warden gets less damage. With the booger, the warden gets slowly into the base and the damage increases slowly over the time, which means that it's easier to control at the beginning. The only downside of using the Sneezy, or in general any pet except the jelly, is that you need some kind of an anchor which you can create by using the Ice Block spell to play a fireball. Because you don't want your warden to move when you play the fireball. The best pet to plan your attack is the jelly. On maximum level, for the first 35 seconds, your warden only will target defenses. Your warden will move quicker into the base, resulting in the fact that you need more troops or spells to support your warden. However, the benefit of using the jelly with the warden is that you don't need an ice block spell to keep your warden anchored at one single place, because there are a lot of trash buildings which he can attack. If you don't have the Sneezy or the jelly, I recommend using the owl, the unicorn, or the frosty. If you never played a warden walk or a fireball before, I highly recommend using the Sneezy on your warden and 1 or 2 furnaces behind the warden, not only to speed the warden up, but also to tank with the boogers and the fire mites defenses, so that you won't need to invest that much spells or troops to protect your warden. Like for example here, I don't even need 1 spell or 1 troop to save my warden against those multi-archer tower and expo combination. And when I want to play my fireball, I can do it in every single position of my warden. I can just ice block him, make him invisible, the defenses, and play my fireball. It is easy as that. Key buildings you want to take down are the Revenge Tower, the Clan Castle, or Spell Towers. Another option is always to go just for funnel purposes, which would something look like this. I play my warden, quick fireball, and I get a great pathing set with my short warden walk and the fireball. And basically I get like everything which is here to set a great pathing and a great funnel. Either I can go in this side or this side to move around the base. Depending on your strategy, the fireball should go more to the core or to the outside. Don't waste your invisibility spells by deploying one single spell for one single defense, like so. But don't use them too risky either. Instead, find groups of buildings close enough together to cover 2 or 3 buildings with one invisibility spell, like so. And then you can play your fireball with saving invisibility spells and getting it right into the base. Know what your anchor point will be. Either high HP buildings like storages or the icebox spell. And make sure you will always have at least one extra invisibility spell to, even if you mess up the invisibility spells, you can quickly react and place your fireball onto the right target. Before deploying your warden, always test with a loon or an archer or barbarian, whatever you have, a small troop, to see if Teslas are there, because if not, and you're way too slow, your warden is gone and your fireball as well. I will do a quick fireball. I don't have to warden walk before, because I only have to invest 2 invisibility spells for the fireball either way. So I can just play my fireball instantly. I will wait a couple of seconds for my warden to clear some defenses, move to the bottom, maybe even take down the queen, and after that happened, I can start with my Meteorgolems from the bottom. I'm waiting patiently for the queen. Should be now, okay. Good headhunter timing. You have to be very careful with the enemy heroes. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, there's a beautiful funnel for the Meteorgolems. They can't go anywhere except the town hall or the core. And that's basically the whole idea of using the fireball, because the funnel is so great. Deploying everything. I have enough totems to distract the longshot guy. And now I will play my world champion here. And as you can see, everything is staying together. The king is walking on the outside, creating the pathing for the world champion needed. I will place it in skeleton spell here to protect my world champion. Everything moves through the base. I still have 1 rage spell left and the overgrowth. I will overgrowth now, so that everything has to go to the right side. Pop my world champion so that he's staying in position. No threat for him. And that is looking not too bad. The queen is standing perfectly there in the core. Basically, I still have a rage, I still have my queen ability, I still have a totem. And this is completely crushed. And that's how you do it with the fireball. Like, most of the time, with Meteorgolems especially, you don't really need that big of a fireball. Just go for pathing. And if you have that, you can swag so many spells and troops and whatever. It's just GG. Like, look at that. 3 spells, and I still have 3 heroes left, full life. I swag my queen ability, basically. I've missed some buildings on the right, but that shouldn't be a time issue either. So, that's how you play the fireball. And yeah, just practice it. Just practice it. It is a lot of fun to do. And once you get the hang of it, you can't really be stopped. If you like this form of content, feel free to like and subscribe to not miss any of my future guides.